A workbench is like a lasagna. It should be made and not bought. Let's get cooking. So after doing a lot of research into the various different types of workbench, I've settled on a Nicholson Workbench. The Roubo has a lot of things going for it, but in the UK, getting that kind of hardwood, that quantity, would be very expensive. So we are going for a cheap, cheerful Nicholson Workbench made completely out of 5x2's. Construction grade lumber, nothing fancy. See how we get on. So I'm basing this design roughly on the Nicholson Workbench in Christopher Schwarz's book, Workbenches From Design Theory to Construction and Use, which sounds pretty dull, but actually is a fantastic resource. Really recommend having a look at that if you're considering which way you want to go. I'm not going to follow it exactly, but I'm going to use it as a pretty good guide for how I'm going to approach this. To start off with, I've started by trimming the legs down. I've started off with 37 inches, and that should give me a bench of about 33 inches when it's all done. As you can see, I've then put a 20-degree angle on both sides of the legs because I'm going to splay the legs out at 20 degrees, which should help with any racking forces and planing things back and forwards. So to make sure that these legs are nice and sturdy, what I'm going to do is laminate two pieces of 5x2 together to essentially make a 5x4 leg. Now, half of the leg needs to be shorter than the other because that's going to be the recess which is going to accept the skirt going across the front of the workbench. So what I'm doing here is just taking a piece of offcut, measuring it to 11 inches, which is what I know the skirt's going to be. I'm going to use that as a reference to work out how long the short piece needs to be. It's far easier than doing maths. Once I've got that 11 inches measured out, I can then apply the 20-degree angle using the carpenter's square, and then just offer up another piece of wood with a 20-degree angle on it. And then once they're pinched together, just be lazy and mark the bottom off like this. Then we know what to cut, and we've got a template for our other three legs. So now you can start to see the legs coming together. You've got one long piece, one short piece, both with 20-degree angles on either side, and space for an 11-inch skirt to sit on the top. Now it's just time to replicate this a couple more times. And now we have 4 legs ready for glue up. Can you see how much this temporary bench is wobbling? Wonder why I need a new bench. Trust me, this one won't wobble. You're not about to learn how to make a wobbly bench. And after spending the night in the clamps, the first leg is ready to go. So now that we have the leg blanks ready, it's time to start thinking about the stretches that are going to connect the front legs to the back legs. For this, we are going for 27 inches, and that's going to be the total width from the front of the bench to the back. So unlike the book that I'm using for reference, I'm going to use half lap joints for this. They use mortise and tenons, but life's too short and half laps are plenty strong enough. So all I'm doing here is just taking a couple of offcuts, sticking them together, because that is going to represent the ultimate width of the leg, and I can use that as a reference when marking out my half laps. This is what happens when you scribe the half laps but you forget to hit press record. So for these, the depth doesn't really matter, so I'm going to pick a random depth on my marking gauge and then use that to set the depth for the cut. And make sure to use the same reference face for the marking gauge when you're scribing out the other side. Very easy to mess this up and get two different lines on two different sides of the wood. You don't want to do that. So first of all, I'm going to cut this out on the table saw. I'm going to use a bit of scrap to just check the depth because this table saw is rubbish and it does what it wants. So I'm just going to make sure that it's cutting to where I think it is before I actually put the work to it. Maybe one day I get YouTube famous and my channel gets monetized and I can justify buying a new table saw. You know what to do to make that happen. Please like and subscribe. The whole time I was doing this, I was thinking of all these American YouTubers that are using dado stacks. We don't really have dado stacks in the UK, so we have to do it the old-fashioned way. Plus, doing it this way means I get to do this, which is possibly one of the most satisfying things you can do. This has not got to be perfect. Close enough is close enough. So now I've got one side cut out, just time to test the length of the cuts and make sure that that's all looking good, which it is. And what I'm going to do is, you could just screw it in at that point, but I am going to drop it in and make a recess on the legs so everything's just as strong as possible and we're protecting ourselves from all that racking force that this thing's going to go through. So just going to start by drawing a line across all of them and then using that to reference where these half flaps are going to go. So I did actually mean to set these half laps up below the lines, but if you can see on this video, and as I saw on the video when I watched it back, I set it above, so these are maybe a little bit higher than I was anticipating and higher than they recommended in the book, but here we are. I'm sure it'll be fine in the end. And now I'm just using my marking gauge just to set the depth and work out how much I need to recess in the mortise in the legs. And it's back to thinking about dado stacks and why I don't have one again. And a quick whack with a chisel just to feel like a real woodworker. And now I've got both sides of the joint cut out, I can check that they're looking nice and tight, which they are. And this is what the leg assembly is looking like now. So we've got our 20-degree angle, we've got our space for our apron, and we've got the stringer going forward and back. Now we just need to think about how we're going to add strength to the top. So to do that, we're going to add a nice beefy stringer, which is going to be double the thickness of the first one. It does need to be slightly shorter than the first sets of stringers, because the first sets go all the way from the front leg to the back leg. The second one don't need to go quite as far because they're only going to go half the way through the leg. So I'm starting off here by just taking off this rounded edge off the 5x2, so we've got something nice and flat so we can join these things together. And here you can see the rounded edge versus the straight edge that I've made, and that's going to make things nice and easy to glue up. We're not going to rely on the table saw to give us an even cut, so we are going to hit this with a jointer plane just to make sure things are nice and level. Please look at the jointer plane, don't look at how much this workbench is moving. I'm building a new one, okay? I know, it's bad. So after a few passes with a jointer, these things fit together much nicer and we're going to get a much more solid glue joint out of them. Time to glue them up. So I know I said life's too short for mortise and tenon joints, but I thought I'd better give at least one of them a go, so we're going to go for mortise and tenon joints for this top stringer. After flipping the piece over, we've got a tenon. We just need to cut off a little bit off either side, and then that bit is good to go. Meanwhile, I'm going to start working on the mortises. Now, this is actually the mortise that I'm going to use for the bottom of the leg vise, but it's the same process. So essentially, I'm going to start the mortise on the drill press and then tidy up with a chisel to clean things up afterwards. And then once I've got that sorted, I'm just going to make some holes for some dowels to go through, which will then pin this joint together and make things nice and tight so it won't come apart again. It's satisfying when it goes together, but I'd still maintain that life is too short for mortise and tenons. Half laps would have been fine. And the half lap's going to get the same treatment, ready to pin these in when I glue up. And there is no going back now. Does anybody else get the sheer panic when you've got glue on stuff and you're trying to get it all together in time? So after a few good whacks with a mallet, then we start to get something that looks a little bit something like this. Now, really happy with this so far. This is made completely from 5x2s, and I want to see if I can get the whole rest of the bench done using 5x2s as well. So let's see.
So that's it for part one of this build. If you want to see how this thing turns out, then please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one when we add the apron and get this thing standing up on its own.